Hello friends, SentinalhMC here, and welcome back to our ChromatiCraft tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Coalescence Orchid, which is a special magical flower you can make that allows you, among other things, to make a cobblestone generator. So it's a very, very simple way of manufacturing cobblestone, as well as a couple of other things. And it works in a very interesting way. Of course, it's a plant, which is very different, and with the usual ChromatiCraft flair, it has some cool particle effects to go along with it. So let's take a look. Okay, so in order to craft this, we'll need our casting table. It needs to be upgraded. We need a casting room, and we're going to need some glass. We're going to need some glowstone dust, a Vidali crystal shard, 2 oak leaves, and 2 dandelions. And I wonder if I have that in the right order. Hey, I got it right. And that's how you do it. So it can be any flowers, any leaves. It can of course be the crystal leaves from the leaves from the special rainbow trees. Has to be a Vidali crystal shard though. Got to use the Vidali one. All right, so that's how you do it. But we need to place our runes. So the runes are Portocali, Ruskia, and Vidali. Okay, so we got to place these. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, and 1 up is where we put the Ruskia rune. So we'll go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right there. Our next one goes 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and 1, 2, 3 forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3. We'll put it there. And then the last one, the Vidali rune, goes 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and 1, 2, 3 down. So 1, 2, and 3. Right there should be right. Go back in here, and yes, it is. We can now craft our Coalescence Orchid. So right-click it with your elemental manipulator. Enjoy the light show and the sound effects. And we can pull out a Coalescence Orchid. I already had one, but here we go. We got another one. Okay, so the way that you use this, for one, if you look at the picture of it, it doesn't grow out of the ground. It hangs from the ceiling. So you can place it, like that, but you don't want to do that because any sort of the blocks like that you place inside this casting room can screw it up. If you remember when I placed the blast glass, and the defensive glass, and when I placed the ethereal barriers around these areas here, it actually broke the casting room. I had to break all of those and then break a block and replace it, and then it re-recognized the casting room. So don't do that. However, over here I've got a little testing area. All right. Now, the Coalescence Orchid, when you can place it on anything. You don't have to place it on dirt. You can place it on stone, whatever. Hang it upside down just like that. The Coalescence Orchid has an effective area in which it checks for fluids that it can combine. So just like a cobblestone generator that you would use in vanilla Minecraft, or similarly anyway, you can place lava, and then you can place water just in the world, anywhere within this radius of effect. So it searches 5 blocks in the Y. So this is actually as high up as it can go with the liquids down here. It searches 5 blocks in the Y, and it searches 4 blocks in the X and the Z. Okay, so it has a little bit of a wider area than what I've got here, but I think it's good for this. But this just right here demonstrates the height. So if I place this water here, it'll actually suck the water and the lava out. Now it doesn't seem to actually, just like a real cobblestone gen, it doesn't, or not real, this is real. What am I talking about? A vanilla, that's the word I was looking for, a cobblestone gen. It doesn't actually consume the lava, but it does consume the water. And it seems to give somewhat of a random amount of cobblestone per bucket of water. So I have 9 at the moment. If I bucket this in, it might give us like this, or like right now. It might spit us out a whole bunch of cobblestone. It spit out quite a bit. Or, no, stop it. Okay, it cleaned it up for me. Or it might spit out just like a single cobblestone. See, look at that. So, I don't know. There must be some sort of randomizer going on so it doesn't give you the exact same amount for every bucket. That seems to be what's happening. But yeah, sometimes it gives me 1 block, sometimes it gives me like 15. But there you go. Now, that's the general use case, one of the general use cases for this thing. So let's drop it down a few blocks so that we can get it all in frame. I'm going to put it like right here. Boop, so that we can see everything. Now, this has a couple of other cool interactions. It interacts with a few other fluids, But first, it actually interacts with RotaryCraft reservoirs in a very fun way. So if we go ahead and replace our lava right here with a reservoir of lava, although we don't really need to do that because it doesn't consume lava anyway. If we replace our water with a reservoir of water, it works just the same. So it can suck water and lava and whatever liquids straight out of reservoirs, which is really quite useful. It means you don't have to use something like a BC floodgate or like a liquid spiller in order to use this. All you have to do is have some reservoirs sitting near this thing, and then pipe liquid into the reservoir when you want to make some cobblestone. Although, there is a much better way to shutting this off. If we block the line of sight between the Coalescence Orchid and the fluid, it will stop working. So, a basic but effective method you could use to effectively automate the this would be to use pistons, sticky pistons. So if we use a redstone signal to move this block of cobblestone out of the way, it'll start making cobblestone, and if we push it back in place, well, it should have finished using up whatever liquid water it had stored up inside of itself, and then quit running. Maybe it takes a little while for it to recognize this block update. I actually don't know. In fact, can we do it with glass? Do pistons even move glass? I forget if that works. Boop. Boop. Yeah, it's interesting. It does look like as soon as you block it up, it stops drawing from the reservoir, but it must have had some sort of internal buffer because it kept spitting stuff out. But like I said, sometimes for a single bucket's worth of water, it produces a lot. Sometimes it produces a little. But using this sort of redstone-controlled piston pushing blocks method, you could totally automate the Coalescence Orchid so that using something like Applied Energistics, we could have a annihilation plane underneath this thing, and then when it got a certain amount of cobblestone in your network, it would a level emitter could go off and push this over it, so it would stop producing cobblestone. It won't drain all your water. Of course, there's multiple ways to get infinite water. All right, so we've taken a look at water and lava and making cobblestone, but there's a couple of other cool things this thing can do. One of those cool things is that it can combine with the heat lily. So if you remember, we talked about the heat lily before. You plant it on top of water, and it's and the Coalescence Orchid ate the water. I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I have to break this, but I will. You do have to stop it. So remove the lava or something. Then plant your heat lily. Okay, directly underneath the orchid. So when you plant a heat lily, underneath a Coalescence Orchid, you get these cool orange particles. I don't know if there are other things that cause these particles, but this is the only time I've seen them, and they look pretty cool. So you get these cool orange particles. Now, what does that do? Well, if we pull this back and start making cobblestone again, you'll see we're actually making smooth stone. So I gotta jump down here to get it. So the heat lily auto smelts the cobblestone. I'm going to have to replace this with a full reservoir anyway. It's empty. It auto smelts the cobblestone into smooth stone, which could be quite useful. Now, it does appear, at least in my tests, that the heat lily needs to be directly in line with this with the orchid, but I want to check something and see if perhaps we can plant it on top of the orchid, because that would be useful. But I have a feeling it's only going to work if we put it underneath. But you never know. So we'll go ahead and plant a heat lily up here. Yep, doesn't work. Didn't think so. But testing. So you'll need to plant your heat lily directly underneath it, which means that you'll have to block off your lava source in order to plant it. But of course, once you get these particles, you can now produce smelted cobblestone, also known as smooth stone. So a useful way to change to smooth stone production, and if you have uses for a lot of smooth stone, then like I usually do, it's like building things. This can be a great way to make it because it's faster than smelting cobblestone in a furnace. Alright, Now that we've gone over that, let's take a look at some other cool stuff that it can do. So it can create a couple of other items depending on which fluids that you give it. One of those is actually liquid chroma. So we know how to make liquid chroma. You use the chroma distiller, whatever the heck it's called. You stand on it, you dump your experience into it, and you get liquid chroma. We previously used it to throw berries into it and use it to boost crystal shards. Well, there's another use for this thing. Let me go ahead and block that up. I'm going to place a reservoir of liquid chroma right over here. And as you can see, it's going to suck up lava and liquid chroma and produce crystalline stone, which is really cool. So you don't need to cast yourself crystalline stone anymore. You can produce it using this. Now, if we look at these reservoirs, it's consuming the liquid chroma, and it's also consuming the lava. Okay, so it's going to consume both of these in order to produce the crystalline stone. So you're not going to get an infinite supply of it out of your lava like you were with the water, because it only consumes the water when it produces cobblestone. Here it's consuming both. It does appear to be consuming the lava more quickly though. So the liquid chroma is going to last longer, but it looks like every block of crystalline stone uses 250 liquid chroma. So if you're interested in mass producing crystalline stone and you have an excess supply of liquid chroma and you can easily get a large supply of lava, then you can produce, you know, mass-produced crystalline stone, which could be quite useful. It would allow you to keep a supply of it always on hand without needing to manually craft this stuff. Quite cool. You also don't have to use crystals to make it. In the casting table, you were using crystals to do it. Here you're using liquid chroma. It's up to you to decide whether or not which one of those are the more valuable resource and which one you would rather use to make it. Now there is one other thing that this can make, and I don't know how to get this stuff, ethereal luma. So that'll come later, or Reiko will probably tell us in the comments, or somebody will know. But I don't know what this stuff is. I don't know where you get it. But if you place it and lava in range of this thing, then it will consume 100 millibuckets of lava each time to produce something called cliffstone. I don't know what you do with cliffstone either. It might just be a decorative block. It looks a lot like cobblestone but white, or it might have some uses. Either way, it doesn't look like the ethereal luma, whatever that is, gets consumed. The lava does, but that's the other thing that this can make. We explored the GitHub to find this stuff. So those are the three things that the Coalescence Orchid is currently capable of producing. It produces cobblestone. In conjunction with a heat lily, it produces smooth stone. When you use lava and liquid chroma, you can make crystalline stone, and when you use lava and ethereal luma, you can get cliffstone. Pretty cool. Now, there's one thing I don't know about this Coalescence Orchid. I don't know if you can put, what are they called again? I can't remember now that I'm thinking about it. Enhancement vines, enrichment vines. You can plant the Coalescence Orchid on the bottom of an enrichment vine, but I don't know if it actually does anything. It might, but I was under the impression from earlier that the enrichment vine only enriches things that are planted on top of it. But who knows? You can put this underneath an enrichment vine. I don't know whether or not it does anything. What I do know is there's a couple of interesting quirks to mention about this. So if I start producing crystalline stone using the lava and liquid chroma recipe, and then I uncover a water source nearby, it will switch to making... Wait, is it making both? Or just the one? No, it's just making the one. That's what I thought. It prefers to suck out water before liquid chroma, so it will switch back to making cobblestone if it has access to all three of these. Let's give ourselves a source of ethereal luma. So once again, it will always default and prefer to be making cobblestone if multiple of these recipes are currently available. And it looks like it also prefers to make the crystalline stone if all three of these are available, and only when they're all blocked will it go and make the cliffstone. So by using, like I said, by using blocks over top of the reservoirs, or the holes in the ground, and moving blocks on and off of them using pistons controlled by redstone, controlled by whatever you want that keeps track of how much of each you have. You can use this to automatically provide you with a supply of whatever it is that you want. So that's pretty useful, and it's got some pretty cool particles to go along with it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode on the Coalescence Orchid. It does quite a few things. I was kind of disappointed that you can't, like, I don't know, use it to make jet fuel or something from it. Or I don't know what I would have wanted you to use. It would be fun if you could use ethanol or jet fuel along with this for some reason, but it's ChromatiCraft, so it's focused around ChromatiCraft, so not RotoCraft. Still, that'd be pretty fun. But anyway, if you did enjoy the episode, please like and comment down below. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. Consider joining our Discord if you're interested. There's quite a few people there that are that know their stuff about ChromatiCraft and have done a lot more with it. So there's always some ChromatiCraft discussions going on as well between a couple of our guys on there that are very active. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and join. I'm SentinalH, and I'm signing out.